Now, back to the MMA Insiders on ESPN Radio 1100 and 98.9 FM.
All right, back here, 627, brand new show, the MMA Insiders. We will have it archived up on ESPN1100.com, and a lot of the stuff will go up on CageWriter.com. Adam Hill is co-hosting tonight. Adam, of course, from the RJ. He's the MMA writer from the Las Vegas Review-Journal. Roy Nelson was nice enough to come in studio with us. He's got a UFC 130 fight coming up. Your better half put us on the griddle. I like that. That was actually pretty good. And I thought about it for a second just now coming back from break because she was asking us who's going to win, Roy or Frank Mir. And I was being honest. I'm like, I haven't thought about it. I really, I like the sport, but it doesn't consume me. But I don't know if I would say. I think would I say right? Would you say right in front of somebody? Is it size? Is that what it matters? Like, is it if they're a little guy?
You wouldn't commit it to anything anyway.
That's a good point. That's a 50-50 fight. I don't even know what the odds are. Who's the favorite?
I haven't looked. I looked Fight Week.
I think Frank is.
How big?
We're both negative, so it's like
so it's a
pick 'em.
There you go. There you go, Jesse. How about that? It's a pick 'em fight. So that's the way I described it. Would you pick again? Is there someone you wouldn't like? You wouldn't if Lesnar was in studio because you're afraid of him, Adam. You wouldn't pick against him, right?
What do you mean afraid of him? Stood right toe to toe.
Is that right?
Remember, he was going to come after me. Stood tall.
He wasn't coming.
I want him to hit me. It would be so great.
Well, he always slaps you on the back.
I don't know. He's intimidating.
Who are you afraid of?
Maybe Rampage.
Yeah, I'm afraid of Rampage.
Because he'll hit you.
Yeah, Rampage punched me right in the nuts.
Care.
Yeah, he punched me right in the nuts. Yeah, of course, Roy's wife, we're all afraid of. We know the wrath. We know Roy's afraid of her. Anyone else?
No.
Anyone else like crazy?
No.
Well, you remember the time we had Tim Sylvia on the show.
Oh,
and,
well, he's gone, though.
Yeah.
So I wasn't going to include him.
But he would punch you.
Oh, of course he would.
He actually threatened Roy when you remember I used to do a show with a guy named the Sports Pig, and he was a big fat guy, and what is he, 5'10", 4 bills? And Tim Sylvia is like, I am going to come across the table and punch you. Because Pig was just driving him nuts. And I look at Tim, I'm like, really? Like, you're going to punch him?
Did he have his belt with him still?
When didn't he? So he got mad at it. He was getting mad at us because we were talking about Matt Hughes in the book, and so Matt had kind of ripped on Tim. Is there anyone else the media should be afraid of, like you would think would hit us? Like who's a little off their rocker? Like I said, Rampage actually during an interview did punch me right in the nuts.
I would say usually any fighter is because you got to be a little crazy to get in the cage.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same token, depends on. I mean, Rampage. He does have the name Rampage, so and he did go on a rampage.
He did go on. That's a good point.
I would say Baroni, but he's like 500, so I'm not really that scared of him.
Yeah, okay. Baroni actually came in the studio about 4 years ago and punched a microphone. That was not on my show, though. That was on Paul Howard's show.
And he choked out one of the hosts here and wouldn't let go even after he tapped like 5 times.
5? It was 17 times. We counted it. So we know Roy's not intimidated by anybody. And when we were asked the question earlier to pick someone in that fight, did you make a pick?
I picked Roy. He's here.
I think I'm probably picking him anyway. Now we're going to act like he's not here.
Okay.
But how do we break down the fight? Are we wrong on that? I said I talked about the striking, and I said Frank is a little more up the middle and a little tighter at times, and you wing.
I don't know about that.
Okay, tell me why I'm wrong.
Why are you wrong?
Yeah.
Just I guess we'll use Frank Sloan's words. I have more knockouts than he does.
Okay, so you're a bigger power puncher.
So that means I have better striking.
Does it? What do you think?
More powerful?
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's a better grappler because he has more submissions.
Oh, stop! That's not the way it works.
I feel like you're mocking
That's how
him.
it works. I thought it.
But it's a head-to-head matchup, so it doesn't.
I thought we were doing paper versus paper.
No. I didn't do paper versus paper. I have no idea I don't care what the records are, how many submissions. I'm going off of what I've seen and growth over the years and stuff like that. Can he get you down?
Sure, he can.
Yeah.
Punch me in my face.
Okay. Takedown, though.
Punch me in my face.
Are you surprised at how many people have come up with this? We joked about it in the break, but this grappling match from, was it 9 years ago?
Yeah,
People
8 or 9 years ago.
People are bringing it up all over the place, saying like, "Oh, look at this! Look what happened when they grappled together." Are you surprised that it's become such an issue?
Yeah, a little bit, because we weren't allowed to punch each other in the face. I think I've had more accolades from that tournament because, I mean, instead of me fighting Frank, I actually tapped out Brandon Vera right after. So, and Brandon Vera actually beat Frank. So, should we look at that way or should we look at the other way? I don't know.
Who's gotten better? Who's had the most growth over the years? What do you think?
Right after that tournament, he won the UFC belt. So I'm going to assume he did.
I think you're being a smart aleck again. I also think the division's a lot deeper now than it ever was back then. And I have a lot of respect for Frank, and I actually think he's gotten a lot better over the years. So,
I mean, he's a 2-time UFC champion.
I know he is.
He's a living legend of the UFC to heavyweight division.
He is, sure.
He's he's been there 10 plus years.
Mm-hmm.
So he's a living legend.
But there were reasons you weren't in. We think.
Yeah, I was in the IFL.
Right, and a certain guy had to put a headline in the local paper.
I don't write headlines, first of all.
Well, the story suggested the headline and made it easy.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I don't detect any sarcasm from Roy either. I think he's just coming straight out and being honest with his answers.
Be straight up on this one. Do you like Frank?
Do I like Frank?
Yeah.
I have no animosity towards Frank.
Okay.
Well, actually, the only thing I hate about Frank is that he makes more money than me. That's about it.
All right.
So that's annoying, but that's really, I can't really hate him for that.
I mean, you guys are. It's not like you both. There's a lot of guys that train here that have moved here to train, but you guys are guys that have come up here, lived here forever. You had to have interactions through the years with him. I mean, how have your dealings been like with him, kind of coming through the ranks?
I've known him for 11 years, but the difference is I've never actually been over his house or had dinner or had lunch with him or anything like that. We've definitely, it's business acquaintances. We've hung out at the gym, worked out together, but that's about it.
Worked out together, does that mean you've trained together? You rolled together?
Yeah, we've rolled and trained before.
But you have no issue with fighting him? I mean, because we know a lot of people who've had prior relationships, they don't want to fight each other.
This is how it works. If you're friends with your friend, and we're in the fight business of winning. We're not in the fight business of just fighting. We're in the fight business of winning. Half our salary or most of our salary comes from winning. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So if I'm going to derail one of my friends, that's basically like throw them underneath the bus at their job and say, hey, this guy's a piece of crap, or, and I would never do that to a friend if he was like my friend. But if he's a business acquaintance, it's like, it is what it is. But if he was my friend, I'd need to make sure he's getting paid, which Frank should be getting paid, so I have no problem with this. So
you sound like you fall on the side of teammates not fighting each other, gym mates not fighting each other.
I think teammates shouldn't fight each other if they're real, like if they're your boy, and you would because money could be you could be made and the whole 9 years, but if you're gonna like destroy one of your friend's dreams or something like that, that's just not cool unless you're just that douchebag.
I am, thanks. That's Roy Nelson. I would never do that. I would never do that to Adam Reynolds. Maybe. It's the MMA Insiders. 6:35. We go until 7. We've got another little hokey thing we'll do towards the end of the show. We're going to talk to John Jones as well. TUF. What's the problem? Because it just has not. It's starting to pick up now because you can see the fighter personalities coming out, and I think Brock has been a little more hands-on. But I thought this would be a gigantic season, solid, but it has not been unbelievable. I thought Brock would just be just smashing on the show.
I don't know. I haven't really watched it, so I couldn't tell you. I'm one of the other 59 million people that haven't watched it. So I've just been trying to watch the little episodes that I'm little inserts where I've been put in. That's about it.
Where were you put in?
Oh, like I did a Burger King little skit or something like that.
Oh, okay.
So,
not like really on the show.
I like to just watch myself.
Okay, well, egomaniac, sure. Adam, why hasn't it hit?
Well, I don't know. I stopped watching.
Did you?
I did. I mean, every year I've been right on. I've watched every episode every year. This year I've fallen behind. I've still got them on my DVR. I'll probably watch them next week, leading up to the finale. But I just can't do it.
You don't even have to wait. You don't even have to wait for the DVR. You can wait until that Saturday when they play them all.
I know they do play the marathon. Then you still got to watch commercials. I I don't know. I can't put my finger on it. I too expected it with Brock Lesnar. I thought it would be, no matter what the season was like, even no matter what the fighters were like, I thought it was going to be huge just because Lesnar was on. He has that built-in audience. But there's just something that didn't connect this season. I know Dana came out this week and blamed the fact that they didn't have guys fight their way in the house. I don't think that's really it necessarily. There's just something about the personalities on this show that didn't mesh. And, I don't know if it's getting stale. We'll have to see next year. I think you have to give it 2 seasons of slowing down before you really make that judgment. But
I think it's on the coaches. I don't think it's a stale concept they've got. They got to get good coaches on there, and they have to play along. And I think Brock kind of came with this new attitude, and it's not his wrestling personality, and he's just too laid back. I mean, he should be ripping into the fighters left and right, breaking stuff. I guess he's calmed down a whole lot.
No, I don't even think it's that. I just think it's just. I think Dos Santos, speaks more on the coaching side than Brock does, and he doesn't speak English. So
yeah.
I think that might be the problem versus like beautiful or great or good man, good.
Well, the other thing is, what happened to the adversarial deal? Like, why isn't
why don't they? I think you skipped right over.
Yeah,
I
got the impression. I like his English. And I appreciate the effort.
No.
At least he's trying. And I'm not ripping you because a lot of the guys, some of the top guys don't try.
No, me and Junior, we actually joked around about it because I was like, "Oh, you've been practicing your Rosetta Stone," and he's like, "Oh, Rosetta Stone." So it was pretty funny to see, that he's really trying. So I have to give him a lot of credit for that.
Maybe part of it's the fact that Junior is such a nice guy too, that Brock but that would play perfectly if he was a jerk. You'd have this,
I thought that was going to be the dynamic coming into the season, and I think Dos Santos has come across really nice in the ones I've watched the first half of the season. But that's just who he is. He's such a nice guy. I know not when he's in the cage with you. He's probably not that nice of a guy, but he's such a nice guy. And Lesnar can be so abrasive. It would have worked perfectly if they did that, and they just haven't.
Lou Pauly doesn't think he's nice.
Well,
who doesn't?
I think he's lobbying for airtime also.
Roy Nelson's with us. He's going to stay with us for a couple more minutes. We're going to talk to John Jones, and then we're going to put Roy to the test. This could make or break a career. We're going to do something called the triple threat. Questions on it could be anything.
Okay.
I mean, this could get out there, go viral, and that could be it. The end of Roy Nelson's career. So stick around.
I doubt that.
I doubt it too, yeah, believe me. Adam Hill's here as well.